My name is Patrick Owen, and I'm an ethnobotanist. I'm here in the highlands of Papua New Guinea to look for a plant that the locals claim is a cure for AIDS. Papua New Guinea. There are about 9,000 species of plants that exist in Papua New Guinea. It's important to observe and to record what's here and how these plants are used. The next day we have what they call the Rapakata. We're going to have a sing-sing, a celebration. There were the Tarrymen, and they had great big hats and feathers of all types of birds, birds of paradise, kingfishers, cassowary feathers, all stuck inside a hat covered with human hair. And they were jumping up and down in two lines, beating on their garamuts, the kundus, the drums. And I also saw the Hagen dancers, these women who painted their faces red and white and blue, and their songs were very melodious. That morning they told me that the celebration would end with a feast, what they call a mumu. And they make a great big fire and they put it on the fire, which singes its hairs, and they scrape off the hair with these machetes. Now once the outside is nice and roasted, they remove the pig from the fire and they make two long slices along the flanks of the pig. These are the pieces that will be cut up first, the flanks. The second piece will be the belly. Now the inside, once they go inside the gut, all the viscera is removed. And this is where the choicest meats are, the ribs and the backbone. Now I was told that the backbone was the choicest part reserved for special people and guests. So how important is the pig in the Highland culture?
It's very important. It's all done in many activities, as I can say. The pig is very important. It can be in bride price, compensation, a party, birthday, anything. It's done by pig. It's very important, especially in the islands.
So it's more than just a food. It really is a value of currency.
Yes.
It's a type of. So it's given for bride price, compensation, payback.
Birthdays,
celebrations.
opening celebration. As now we are doing. It's really important in any activity.
So it's really as a sign of wealth. The more pigs that a person has, the more wealth.
It's very important, yes.
Yeah. Now this is going to be roasted in an underground oven, like a momo.
Yeah, momo, yeah.
We made an even bigger fire and put a whole bunch of stones on it, so the stones became red hot. In a pit that they had dug up earlier that morning, they lined it with banana leaves. And then they put the stones inside, and they covered it with a whole bunch of greens, ferns, vegetables, bananas. And then they put another lining of banana leaves, and then they put in the meat, along with some other hot stones. And they covered that with even more greens and more bananas. And then finally, they covered it with more banana leaves, and then with earth. And they left it for precisely 1 hour. And 1 hour later, they dug it all up, and the meat was baked to perfection. Yeah, so it takes time, and the stones are wet too, so. Well, these are black things here. Insects, insects. Icky stuff.
My search begins in the local marketplace, where I hope to find the names and whereabouts of healers that may be able to help me.
An ethnobotanist is a scientist who studies how plants are used by humans and how plants are used as medicines.
The name of this is Como? Como Pai? No medicine.
Medicine,
Too?
yeah.
Good for what?
Malaria, asthma,
Is ginger you also used for medicine?
plenty nothing.
This is medicine too? Everything, eh?
Yeah,
everything. So the roots are good for food. Are they also good for when you're sick? I learned from the marketplace that there's a healer named John who uses plants to fix broken bones. I'm about to hop on a bus to work to visit him to see if he may have a plant that is useful against AIDS. Minge! Minge, yeah, minge! Want a minge? Yeah, minge!
To establish a special bond with a medicine man takes a long, long time. I mean, why should you trust an outsider? Here I am, a white guy who's coming into a strange village, asking for some of the medicinal plants. Now, indigenous people usually keep medicinal plants as a sacred cultural secret. Some plants are more secret than others. The more pronounced the disease, the more secretive the plant is. Especially for AIDS, I'm willing to bet that that plant is going to be a secret.
나는 공부도 보거든. 그러면 너무 매듭도 뭐냐면 아우시는 분이 굳이 나비르면 그나 보냐 그러니 범분 많은 지름제 아니 뭐 뭐야 뭐 무슨 보고 되고. 대하면 비지 부고 되는 거 보면 거면 눈이 나고 벨링 지름제.
Patrick, what John is saying is, in old colonial times, there was no hospital around. That's the time when he's got a broken leg. So when he looked around to get another medicine or something, he just came and took the leaf, and then he started eating this leaf with meat, and then you get healed up with this broken bone. So now he used this leaf to get healed for the broken bones. So now we use this one as his living or running now in Papua New Guinea.
How often do you take the leaf?
मैं नोरिंग मैं बराबर नोरिंग वन बंदे के जे एनो बेजे मगुन पुजे नामा नोबिन बोल
He takes it and eat 4 of the leaf in the morning time, and then another 4 below 12 o'clock, and 4 6 o'clock. Take 4, and then it takes 6 weeks to heal that bone, broken bone. 6 weeks, 1 month, 2 weeks.
So basically this plant, in order to fix your bones, you have to eat 4 leaves a day, eat it for 6 weeks, and you have to eat it with meat, protein. And this will set the bone and heal the bone back in place. It's very useful.
Meridian. In Meridian, Yampoko, I spend no remake the Meridian. Meridian. In Meridian, Coras Perimian, no remake Meridian. Meridian.
Pick up a stick.
Going of the regular paper number kid there. Example there. Okay.
Wow. So this plant is used for AIDS then?
That's right. John have said that. You go to the leaf and then give it to H people, so they cured its H. So he said he gave it to 2 of them, a young girl and a young boy. So he already cured its H for both of them. The young girl got married and she's got 1 kid, and the young boy's got married and he's got a kid with a wife. So now they're still alive
And they're completely healthy.
completely healthy.
How exactly do you process it? How do you prepare it to give it to the AIDS patients?
Mele de gaten meland na meden wa bungini de gaten meland. Ko meden ngurna na gaten melas.
보고 멤버니 거기 개리 멤버니 보고 저거 개리 멤버니 거부도 아무 개제도 만다 립신이 님에 자지분 어저 고모로 멤버니
What John is saying is you used to take that leaf, bring it home and then cut it into pieces, tiny like tea bags. Then you wrap it around with another leaf, give it to the person who had that sick. So they take it with lamb flaps, chicken, meat.
Okay, so they just sprinkle it on the meat
Yes.
and eat it. How long has he known about this remedy for AIDS?
보내 야매저 저거 야매 콤비너름 야그너름 니네게 ngoreyen nyanja ya enga bo wa bomdu mo wa tubulu tramijinga gapo pana ties
Till 2 years now, because this hate virus he started earlier in Papua New Guinea. So he have started just 2 years ago, and he have killed 2 of them.
Would he be willing to share his secret with the rest of the world and perhaps benefit from?
Mele bude kan da me bo gunra bon bo kan mele sare dam ba bude kuma el ko ba kuiro gonro mele am da wadna nambar mo ben ben ko nin.
ojabu no na bugini bedime mbagunya jango goni bindigu boy
Okay.
ojabu na bugini na no ne marshini gute moringo ji edi men bo me sare jango bo got kandem do gunra me bo jango kandem do ji ka buge enna ko ni ji
Okay. Well, John is saying that if the product, if you bring it back and start it in the laboratory or something, and if it works out, then he said, well, then I'll bring the plant and we can find some places where we can plant this plant and get the product out of this one. We can do that, he said.
Excellent.
At the moment, he said, he's uneducated, just only a bleacher, but then he uses God's sense of using all these chemicals, he said.
Well, he knows certainly a lot more than me in terms of the jungles here.
Yep.
And his knowledge, hopefully, will be passed on to his
Yes.
family,
Yep.
to his son, and so forth. I think that's the most important thing, because his knowledge invaluable, if indeed this is the cure for AIDS. So, Flossie, how did you know that you were first sick? What were the symptoms, and did you go to the hospital?
Some also being am cost that being in the Palabganam, John Purimor, Pambagan, some Diamor of Nangagan, Anquili Tangagan, Nampan, John Purimor.
For you saying is, I can't go to the hospital, but it's very costly. No medicine, I can't get cured with that medicines around. So I have to go back to John Puri where he gets jungle leaves.
How often did you use this?
Kalam Banblan, Bulling, some Diaming Rocknagan, days boom Makimathagan, Muragan.
Weeks and months to take this leaf. 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. I will depend on how John's situation, I don't know.
And how long was it before you felt better?
2 years, Manaitu, Malalgan, Diaming Napurumbagan.
So 2 years and onwards is okay now. After 2 years.
So she's feeling all right?
Oh yes, he looks okay now.
She's working. That's great.
That's great.
I'm really happy that. I'm just not convinced that this plant, Joby, may be useful for AIDS. Although the plant may have anti-HIV activity, I'm just not convinced. First, John Puri is a very able healer, but his specialty is broken bones. I'm not even sure you can recognize what the symptoms of AIDS even look like. And second of all, the patients that John treated were never diagnosed as being HIV positive using hospital blood tests. So we're not even sure that they even had AIDS in the first place. So with these points, I have my doubts that this is the plant. So I'm going to continue my search.
This betel nut, it's a nut, so it's a betel nut, and this is called a lime. This is called a lime, and this is called a daga. When you want to chew, you take off this, hold it this way. You take this, take off the skin. Okay, you get the inside part. You get this one, you put it in your mouth. Okay, you get a dagger, you spit it, make it wet. You put in the lime, like this. Then you buzz it. take off the shell. Okay, take the inside part,
I'm only gonna take half though.
put it in. Okay, now get the, this is called a dagger. Split it, make it wet. Okay, this is called lime. You put it in, little bit. Nice. How do you feel?
It's good.
Good. Okay.
Tasty. Oh no. So the bigger the betel nut, the more lime that I chew. I'm feeling hot, a little hot. I'm feeling my heart race. I'm feeling nervous. And I think I might be swallowing. But I know I have to spit. I just tried a small one, and it's having an effect on me. If I had a big one, I think I'd have a heart attack.
No.
I think so.
I'd like to introduce to you another one of the herbal plants that we have here. This one is a multi-purpose plant that we use. It cures, the leaf cures, it acts as a pain reliever. When you have a very strong toothache, you just chew the leaf, the youngest leaf, you can just pick out the leaves and then chew it. It should ease off your pain when you have a very strong toothache. And that's for the leaves. The roots can be used to cure malaria, typhoid. You cut the stem off, get the roots, wash them up, make them clean, then boil them in a pot of water. Maybe three. It's a very poisonous plant, so you have to be very careful, because you take 2 or 3 roots from 2 or 3 plants and then have a cup or 2 of cups of water, 2 cups of water, and then start to boil. And once it boils up, just take purify, clean, just filter the water, and then drink it. That should help you with your malaria and typhoid.
So how is this elderberry traditionally used?
Used to cure strong fever, when you have a very strong cold, running nose, and you have running nose and headache and stuff like this. You use this just to cure it up. This is used as another one of these herbal medicines to cure the fever, the strong fever that we have. And it's being used by a lot of people now in the Western Islands province.
How exactly do you prepare it?
We pick out the flowers, at least 2 or 3 bunches, and then we put it into a pot, add 2 cups of water, and then start to boil it. And once it has reached up to boiling point, and when we are satisfied with the color of the water in the pot, we take this rubbish out, the leaves and the flowers out, and then filter the water, strain it properly, and then just take it as or drink. So that's to clear off the stuff that is working inside it.
How often do you take it?
We take it 3 times a day, 1 in the morning, 1 cup in the morning, 1 cup in the afternoon, and then the other cup in the evening before you go to sleep.
And how soon would you expect to feel better after taking it?
If you keep up with the required takings, at least you take 3 cups a day, it should heal up in 1 or 2 days. This plant is being used to get rid of swollen ankles, swollen knees. After you've had an accident, or after a game you've probably hurt, or someone has hit you and you have a big swollen lump on your body, you use this plant to get the swollen off. You just pull this plant out like this. Have a fire lit up, heat this off the flame. Once it warms up, you just take it and rub it on the area where you have hurt yourself or where the swollen is. So it should cure it up in a couple of hours time. It will hurt you, you will get yourself burnt, but it will really help you. This plant is used as an herbal medicine to cure heartburn. We pick the leaf off, the youngest leaf, and then we burn it over a flame, have it half cooked, and then we just chew it. And we get throw the waste out, don't swallow it, but just take the juice in, and that should calm your heartburn. And at least it should get rid of it for some time. And when you have it again, just do the same thing. And it just quietens this and makes you feel okay.
So Andy, AIDS has become a major disease in Papua New Guinea within the last decade. I understand you've successfully treated HIV-positive patients with a series of plants. I was wondering, which plants do you use?
One of them is this one, the other one is this one, which is called Indian pennywood, and 3 more.
How do you give that to the AIDS patients? How do you prepare it?
Boil the water first, and then let the water boil, and then afterwards we dip this leaves.
So these two plants that you just picked as weeds in the garden, which stage do they work at?
So these plants we usually the third last stage we usually to kill all the virus.
Before you apply the medicine, though, is there a cultural practice to make sure that the medicine is effective?
And we pray that that person has to be cured in the mind, that there is a curing, so that patient don't have to have a burden, mental anguish. So we have to free this, make the brain free, and then afterwards this medicine works faster.
The power of faith and the power of herbs.
What did I find it?
Oh,
That's the one. That's the third one with usually.
what's this one called?
That's a white cedar.
White cedar.
Usually use the leaves with the 2 herbs that you have seen.
Okay.
Usually combine together and give it to the sick patients.
So is this a relatively common plant? Pretty easy to find?
No, it's easy.
It's pretty common.
Yeah, it's common. But one of them, it's not here. It's really up at the really thick jungle.
So one of the 5 medicines is actually hard to find.
Yeah.
So this one you combine with all 5 of them together. You
Yes.
use the leaves of this one
Yeah.
along with boiling water,
Yes.
like you mentioned for the other
Yes.
plants.
So usually you use the barks and the leaves.
So you use the bark as well?
Yes.
You just take, how do you collect the bark?
Get the bush knife and take off.
Strips?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you use the inside of the bark or the outside of the bark?
Outside.
Outside of the bark?
Outside and inside.
Both.
Yeah, both. This is the one that I was talking about. Do you know this one?
What do you call
What
it?
do you call lichens?
It's a lichen.
Yeah.
What do you call this locally?
Call it it's a beard of a whole man.
Okay.
So I usually take this one out and then take with another 3 herbs, make it 4, and we usually boil them and then give it to the patient.
So you just boil it along with the rest of the plants. Now, since this is a lichen, it can grow pretty high up in the trees. Do you have to climb trees sometimes to get it?
Yeah, sometimes it's really hard to get it.
Yeah.
Usually climb them up.
How much of it do you need? Like, in terms of the amounts, we've seen 4 plants already.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 weeds, first of all, The pennywort, the Indian pennywort. How much of that do you need?
1 handful.
1 handful. And the other garden weed?
1 handful.
1 handful. And how much of this?
1 handful.
And the other tree too? 1 handful?
Yeah, 1 handful.
And the fifth medicine too, I imagine, is
Yeah, 1 handful.
in how much water?
We used to give 3 cups a day, so boil 5 to 6 cups, boil them, and then give 3 cups a day.
Mm. Whew. At last.
The plant that we have been searching for, that's the 5th plant.
Now this was it's pretty hard to find. So this is not common at all.
Yeah, not common.
So what's this plant called?
We call it rab.
Is this tree used for any other diseases?
Cancers, TB, bronchitis, then arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis.
I'm back in the lab with Andy's 5 plants that he uses to treat his AIDS patients. I'm going to add an extract of each of these plants to a cell culture of the HIV retrovirus. Then I'll have a much better idea how useful these plants are in the fight against AIDS. Now, in order to gain the trust of the medicine man, I have to become friends with him. I'm not after his medicines in order to make money. In fact, if anything does come out of this, I really want him and his village and his family to benefit from it. What I want to do, though, is record his knowledge before he passes on. Now that's my role.
Oh, look at Jeremiah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.